Well, I think we've all been where I'm at today. We got up this morning and it's just a huge northwest wind, big enough that I couldn't go fishing where I was planning on. We were gonna go over to Winnie today, but there's no way we're gonna be able to fish that. So we picked a small little lake that's got a landing up here on the northwest corner, and the sign up there says there's walleyes in here, there's pike, there's crappies. So I'll tell you what, we're gonna go out here and we're gonna see what happens. I've never fished this one before, but one way or another, we're gonna catch a few fish today and we're gonna spend some time on the water. Stay right where you're at. Fish Ed's coming up. Tell you what, shiners like that this year, they're like gold. Not many bait shops have them. I ran across those on the way up here. I checked 4 different bait shops before I finally came up with some real good ones. Hopefully they'll make a difference today. Got him. That fish was pretty cool because I saw him on the screen. You know, it's a bit of a struggle out here in the wind today. I'm actually having to really work hard to keep the boat control where we want it. And all I'm doing, oh yeah, it's good eye right there. All I'm doing is just pulling this jig along. I'm bouncing it along the bottom. But what I'm also doing is paying a lot of attention to that graph today. Because when I see a fish, I can usually get bit. I've had a couple of them come up and grab me. But what I do is when I see that fish, one of the things I'll do right away is if I've been dragging that thing and kind of hopping it, what I'll do is I'll lift it and I'll hold it a little bit more and I'll slow down just a little bit. And what I did is I quick slowed the boat down a little bit, because ultimately if I can park that boat on that fish just a little bit longer, most of the time you'll get bit. We're gonna measure this guy. He's gonna be really close. This lake, when we got here this morning, the sign tells me 17 to 26, you gotta let go. And that's a 19-inch walleye. So let's let that guy go. I'm sure we'll find some eaters as the day goes on here. There he goes. Let me show you how I'm fishing today. This is the most simple way in the world to fish as far as I'm concerned. What I'm trying to do is, first I'm going upwind and I'm trying to stay in a certain depth, and today I'm kind of guessing that starting point is somewhere between 9, maybe 7 to 9 with the wind when the wind's really ripping. And then when I'm in the areas where there's a little bit less wind, I'm going out just a little bit deeper. There's another one on the screen right there, 12 feet of water. So that's kind of the max I'm going. And what I'm finding out is out here in that 12 feet of water, the fish are up a little higher. When I graph them in shallow, they're not up and as active. Now, I'm not sure what's causing that. One of the things that may be, though, is the fish that are out here have finished the spawn and they're in that eating mode. So I don't know, we'll have to kind of see as the day goes on. And then all I'm doing is I'm just working a simple Lindy jig. Now here, today I've tried a couple different colors, but let me show you what I'm doing. It's an 1/8 ounce jig, and the reason I'm using a jig that small, even in the wind, is it enables me to do one of two things. I can drag it a long ways away from the boat, or I've got just enough weight that I can hop it along, and then I'm just nose hooking a shiner minnow. You know what, at this time of year, I don't know that there's a better bait than a shiner minnow. Now that one's a little bit beat up. We'll put a new one on, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty tough to beat it. Let's get back in there, see if we can't get another one right away. Bye. A little bit of everything along here. Oh yeah. Took this pass a little bit tighter to the brake line and I just missed a fish. And sometimes, this could be the same fish, or it's just there's a pile of them tighter along the brake line here. You know what's interesting though? I didn't graph this fish. And I didn't graph the one I just missed either. And what that tells me is these fish are laying really, really tight into this break. Now the first one I got out here deeper, and that fish, I graphed him. He was easy to see. We picked him off the bottom and saw exactly what we were looking for and caught him. But this guy here, He must have been just tucked right into that break. When you get fish tucked into the break like that, and you miss one and then you have another one hit like that, I'll tell you what, I think I know what I gotta do. I gotta bounce this jig in, up a little bit, and then back down a little bit, and just keep going like this. I'm gonna let this guy go, and I'm gonna get the boat back on track, and then I'm gonna show you the location that I'm fishing, because there's a lot of variables going into how we're getting these fish this morning. Number one thing is that we're fishing a lake today, like I said at the beginning of the show, that's actually fishable, because if you don't have boat control, you aren't going to be able to catch fish. And one of the things we knew this morning, we were driving up, and I mean, flags were standing on end, and it was just ripping. There was no way I was going to be able to fish Winnie unless I was confined to one little area. So what we did is we picked a smaller lake, because deep down I know I can fish this whole lake and have pretty decent boat control, whether it's through the use of drift socks or whatever, my trolling motor, whatever it may be. Now what I did though, is I came straight to the northwest corner. This is the calmest part of the lake, and I'm up here for a reason. This is where I'm going to find the warmest water at this time of year. It's been a cold spring, but up here I've got 48-degree water temp. So it's going to do a couple things. One, it pushes the spawn along. These fish have wrapped up spawning and they're getting out to that first break. Number two is because I had a northwest wind, it's very fishable. But here's what you want to look for on these small lakes. Look for an area up on the northern part of the shoreline, if you can find it, that's got a flat. And this one has a flat that comes out to about 7 feet deep, then it drops off hard, and then it flattens out again. Here's what that is. That's a spawning area up there for those fish a couple weeks ago when they were dropping their eggs and spawning. Then it's an area to ambush bait right along that break, and it's also an area for those bigger fish to start sliding out and making their way to the mid-lake structure that they're going to be on in a couple weeks. So this area has everything, warm water temps and the right depths. If you can find those areas, find these small lakes and have the boat control, you can catch fish all day long. That's a nice walleye right there. That's a great eye. There he is. Got him. Nice walleye. Oh yeah, look at him. Oh yeah. That right there is a heck of a way to finish up the day. That is just a dynamite walleye right there. I'll tell you what, the bites that we're on now and all over the Midwest are only going to get better day after day, because as the sun finally comes out and this water warms up, these fish are going to get more and more aggressive. Walleyes like that one are going to go crazy all over the Midwest, and we're going to bring it to you. So check back with us each week on Fish Ed. We'll put you on one of these bites, show you exactly how to do it so you can go do it on your own. Look at that. That is a fun fish right there. Let's let that big girl go. I'm Jon Thelen. We'll catch you next time on Fish Ed.